Well, hello everybody. Pardon me for walking around here. It is 0 degrees in here. Flat on 0. Outside it's -1. With the wind chill, the wind's supposed to be picking up here again a little bit. It'll be a -12. So I'm just going to give you a quick review of where we're going. This is for my snow blower. It's supposed to, I put a couple regular belts on it and they get hot, stretch out and fly off. This is Kevlar. It's not supposed to overheat or fly off when you put it on. Because if this one starts giving me problems, I told my wife next fall I'm going to buy a new snow blower. Every time we get snow, I got to work on the damn thing to use it. I'm getting tired of it. And with my back, she can't shovel snow, but she wants it done. Here's the bushings. This is what's left of the old one. There's 1/16 of an inch difference in the diameter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on a grinder. Put the grinder in the vise and turn it on so it's just sitting there running. I'm going to take my sleeve. Let's just use this one. Like so. I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm just going to lower it down so this is right there. And just let it run on that wheel. Just hold a little pressure down on it. And let it sand off. I need a 1/16 of this off. Just to clean it off. Then I'll radius the edge. Do the same thing to this one. Then I'll smack this one in the bore. I got to clean the rest of the bore open because it's got water rusted since we started this process. It took me 4 weeks to find the bushings for $8.62 complete with the metal sleeve versus paying $90 without the metal sleeve. And this is a different compound. This stuff is for 4-wheel drive. It will not elongate when the front end's moving with the elongating and stuff. This will hold it firm. So it's going to be a firmer, more solid steering, which is a good thing. This tube here will have to get shortened. The same amount. Which one is it? Yes, I have the right one. So whatever I cut off of this one, I'm going to have to measure that, mark it on the sleeve, clamp the sleeve down on my compound saw, and cut it off, radius the edge again, just like they've got it, and get the burrs off of it. And then it gets the large washer. And then there's the old washer. I've kept them, I'll get them cleaned. They go on the outside, and then you get your lock nut. Now, to put it together, I had to do a bunch of guesstimating. That's what took so long, okay? Because I'm not just going to go out and buy $115 for 2 bushings. I didn't have to. So I got $20 in the 2 bushings. And I've got $22 in everything, including the new bolts, the washers, and the lock nuts. Now the lock nuts were another issue. Big box store for one that size, $3.29 a piece. The guy says that's the best you're going to get. I went down to Ag Pro, a John Deere tractor dealer. They got all the nuts and bolts for the farmers and stuff that need equipment. Lo and behold, I looked through their bins, there they were. Took them up to the cash register, told the girl I needed this. She told me, she put them in a bag and looked at me and said, that's 88 cents with tax. So, did you want to pay 88 cents? Or did you want to pay $7 plus tax? Every dollar in the car is a dollar more I got to compensate for. And that's how we're doing it. Now, this has got an independent front suspension. Okay. It's kind of hard to go hands-on because right now, people, I'm going to be honest with you, it is 0 out here. And I step outside this garage, it goes towards -12, depending on how hard the wind's blowing. So I'm not going to be sitting out here working. Not going to happen. This is where the bushings go that we're working on. We took the valves out of this and cleaned them up, and as you can see, it's full of oil. It just... The springs are cut. When I had these springs in there, they were so stiff, there was no... You couldn't compress them. I literally stood on these two, jumped up and down on it, and the car wouldn't even move. It was so compressed, so tight, that it literally crushed the... Where's it at? Oh, right here. There was a bushing in here. This thing was jammed so far down because those springs were oversized and the wrong size that the car had no flex and was sitting up in the air like this. It had to be a pain to drive. Someone said, I found a set of springs the right size. Well, if they don't have the right... they won't compress properly. What I'm trying to say. Under force, being rigid like that, you might as well just weld the front end together. And this is the independent front suspension from back then. So I'm trying to work with it and save it. And I got to go find parts that are non-Packard that fit due to the fact that as soon as they put the Packard on it, like a tie rod in, I could buy for $7 or $8 to $10. As soon as you put Packard on it, they went $50 or $60 or $70 for one. I'm not that stupid. If you want to throw your money away, that's how so many of these projects fail. Just get out your catalog, start ordering your parts. When you run out of money, use it for a junk rack in your garage. Like, pack stuff on. Engine in this thing runs perfect. 43,000 miles. I got to go back in and deal with the carburetor. What else is there? Got to switch. We're switching the electric from 6-volt negative positive ground to 6-volt negative, and then we're going to put in a couple of boosters in line to kick it up to 12 volts, so I can have the windshield wipers out of an MG fabricated and put in here. That's going to be an interesting part of the build right there. Okay. Because these arms right here are, I can get adjustable arms from, I forget who it was, and blades, that I can adjust the arms down to 6 inches with an 8-inch blade. It'll be perfect. It'll come right down here where it's supposed to be. The wiper has a slight little fit to it. 2 speeds instead of 1. This has got 1 speed, on or off. Either you can see or you can't. I'm trying to get the front steering viewed. I'm going to have to raise this thing up and get under there and take some pictures of it for you and get the camera down there. I cannot find a single diagram or a picture of this front end underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to upgrade the bushings, okay, and get the tires back on it to get it sit, and then I want to find out why there's an inch of slack for each side of dead center in the steering wheel. Check the gearbox first, and they tell you normally it's never the gearbox in these, hardly ever. It's a couple fittings underneath, which now I've got to figure out what they're talking about. So I'll get somebody up here to turn it. If they turn the wheel, if the gearbox turns and the linkage is sloppy, then I know the problem's underneath the car. and they say 98% of the time that's where it's at, to adjust the gearbox, really doesn't help a whole lot. The people restore these. We're going to paint the frame. We're going to be doing a bunch of work on. The engine's going to get painted. All the wiring gets stripped out. We're going to redo the heater. We're going to redo the wipers, the steering column, and everything. I'd like to keep it all intact because it was really spring this build forward fast. I would be cutting the body down and doing the coupe out of it, making a two-door coupe out of it, and doing a custom front end, like for the rat rod. I got the panels for here, and the bottom panel, and I got an S10 fender. I'm going to make where the wheel loop is. I'm going to bring it up right across here, so stuff won't blow in on the engine, and then the frame will be painted and exposed. We're going to get a little bit of a rake on it. I got to go down and talk to a guy I know wants these tires and wheels off of this because they're tubes. They're good tires and good tubes. They hold air for a 50 Wayfarer he's got, because his tires were set out in the woods or something. They're just rotted off the rims practically, and the rims are nasty. I told him I can hook him up. In exchange, he's going to give me some tires to bolt on here, and I'll just have to figure out which adapters I need to slap on here to change the bolt pattern to whatever wheels I get to put on here. Drive shaft stays the same. Rear end, drive shaft, transmission, steering, engine, just renewing everything. I told her I want to leave as a rat rod. The wife says, you're going to paint that thing or I'm not going to sit in it. Whatever. Right now I'm pushing hard on her build. That is the MG in there. So barring the weather, my jeans are actually stiff. It's so cold out here. I can't believe I used to work out in this. I remember nights 22 degrees below zero with the wind chill, snow blowing up to past my knees, and walking in it all night long working moving equipment. You did what you had to do. Now you just sit at home and get EBT and free rent and bomber phones and all this stuff and go out and riot and do stupid shit. So we're going to make the front end. I got some ideas to it. It's going to be original. This is just going to be my idea of a car. And I'm going to drive it to some car shows coming up this summer. So if I can save the suspension and do what I'm going to do, that's going to be what? Upgrade the brakes, all new brake lines, tires, wheels, the body fabricating, the wiring to get it from a 6-volt positive ground to a 6-volt negative ground, so I can put 6 to 12 volt boosters in the wiring to operate the windshield wipers and a couple things. Because I need two of them. I need one for the wipers, one for the heater, and one for the cigarette lighter plug, so I can use a GPS speedometer and or a camera, rear mounted camera, which to me is not going to be that important. And we're going to show you how to do this without reaching in your pocket all the time. We're going to replace these windows anyway. This is laminated glass. There's a guy who builds these cars told me where he gets his glass cut, and I'm going to go talk to the guy. I need this windows cut an inch larger all the way around except for the center bar. And get a light tinted glass in here. Because my wife's got glaucoma. She has to wear a special lens all the time. If I could tint this, it would save her from doing it. And I got to replace all the windows anyway because they're delaminating. So we're going to make them larger because I'm going to glue them in. I got the adhesive to do it that they use to put windshields in the newer cars. You've seen them. having to cut it out, trim it, then they put the bead of it down, and they got that machine to make sure that window is exactly where it's supposed to be before they touch it. Because once they touch it and that stuff grabs, it's grabbed. That's what I want to do here. There's a nice metal lip in there that this rubber sits on. If the glass was larger, so I'm going to make the pattern with a piece of wood, so I can just lay it here and get exactly what I want on this window and the back windows and the side windows and everything, and I'm just going to go to town. The only ones I got to buy rubbers for will be the vent windows. I don't know about them. Not even sure how that will. There it is. I may even weld a lip in there and take out those vent windows, so I've got a complete lip around the window. Clean it so I can glue the windows in back there too. I don't care. The only ones that's going to be special is going to be these vents here, and that's it. So I got to get little things done on it. This is a low buck, no buck build, as I told you. Give me 1 second here as we're talking. What happened here? Something's going on. There it is. Sorry to say. If it gets any lower, I'm going to have to bend my knees to walk around. These are the tires. They're 17 by 8. I'm going to put a nice amount of rubber. I'm going to use this size tire, low pro, in the front, and then I'm going to use the regular size tires, larger size 17s, in the rear. I like to get a set like I got on my Ram, about that wide. Would get the spacers to kick them out a little bit because of the offset. They would look good. So he's got some down in the salvage yard that I might be able to sweet talk him out of a swap. Sorry about that, people. I had to get that tire put away before the storm hits later tonight. So that's where we are on the rat rod. The wind's starting to kick up. Let's get out of the wind. I've got long underwear on, the kind I used to wear when I worked outside. Mommy threw all that stuff away when I retired. I had tons of cold weather gear. I threw away. She spent up a whole lot. It was nice over to donated it for people go in there and buy coveralls and stuff. Well, Carhartts. I had a ton of that stuff. I just got rid of all of it. They had the insulated bibs and everything. And I wish I'd have kept my insulated bibs. She kept a few basic things, and I got my skin tight long johns on. It really. And they're actually letting the cold air get to me, okay? And my jeans are actually stiff. As in hard and stiff. For the cold here. Like I'm saying, it is 0 officially to a -1. And with the wind chill, they're talking, it's starting to, the wind's picking up slightly. It'll be a -12. I don't even know if that's a good idea. This is the first beer I had out here. It's kind of just been sitting here because I forgot it was out here. So it's kind of my... soon as later mommy's gonna see it, she's gonna toss it because it's too old. If you're gonna drink that, it's gonna be awful. So that's what we're doing with the rat rod, people. We're gonna be doing some. I'm gonna come out here tomorrow, hell or high water, turn the heater on, close the door. Should be able to get it up to about 30 or 40 degrees, as cold as it's gonna be. And radius these bushings. And the first clear day we've got, I'm gonna come out here. I got a stand I can sit down on and bring the drill out there, an extension cord and a wire brush, and clean out the bores of those control arms and get my brake tool. Get my brake hose. And clean it a little bit. Boy, I don't know how many brakes, wheel cylinders and stuff I've rebuilt with this. It's one of the few tools that didn't get stolen when someone cleaned me out. And I'm kind of lucky with that because I've had this thing forever. I even got new stones for it somewhere. Is that the other one? They got one of them. I think they got the other one. The other one had bigger stones on it. And you could take the pins out and change the stones on it. Because these are getting pretty well worn down. So I'm either gonna have to get a new one or some stones or do both. I'll probably do both. Get the small stones on this one and get the one with the larger stones for the work I'm going to be doing. Because I know I used to have guys say, hey, can you fix this or do something? I'd rebuild their wheel cylinders and stuff for them. It's a lot of money on those. I don't care who you are. You don't have to spend it, don't spend it. I got the list here. We got to start making a list of things coming down. JJ, the rat rod, is $1,291.98. Just shy of $1,300. And she runs. She will drive. I put the drive shaft back in her. We've already tested it. I got to put the grease back in the rear end. We drained the rear end, and the grease came out perfectly clean. There was nothing, no chips, or anything on the plug. So we're going to wait. We got to change the front seal because the vent hole got plugged up and it blew that front seal and pushing grease out of it. So what I got to do is find that, drill it. I'm going to put a semi-truck style vent in it. So water sprays, I can't get in, but it won't allow it to build up pressure and force the grease out. Then I got to steam clean that cast iron, then re-grease it. If not, I'm going to have to pull that rear end. There's no torque setting. You got to count the twist. It's a whole process to get that pinion exactly where it's supposed to be. If not, it'll destroy the bearing right now. I really don't need to put a bearing, figure out how to do that 2 or 3 times, considering the price of the parts for that car. If I can get a supply of parts without spending any money, I should have it almost ready to drive in 90 days from the time I start on it, officially start on it. That's when I cut the body and dive in on it. Right now, I'm just doing tinkering stuff, the stuff that I know. I got to have windshield wipers, emergency brake, turn signals, headlights, emergency flashers, seat belt, and turn signals, seat belts, brake lights, tail lights, and all that stuff. and seat belts. Did it? There's 5 things I have to have: turn signals, brake lights, headlights, horn, seat belts, emergency brake. That's the 6 things. If I got pulled over, if they wanted to impound the car, they would check and see. And that's the 6 things that the highway patrol would expect. If I took it over, I'd ask them to inspect the car, other than the title and everything. But that's the 6 things they'd look at. And it's an open-wheeled roadster. And I just modified it. I didn't build it or anything, so it is passable. And open-wheel cars are legal. I'm going to kind of do a closed in the back, so I'm not slinging stuff on people's cars behind me. Which, if you're that close to me, you need to get hit in the teeth with something. The front's going to be open-wheel. That's just going to be the design. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to move into getting these done off camera. We'll get that cleaned up off camera. I'll come back on camera and show you how to assemble it and check the steering. And I'll tell you what we found when we put the bushings in after we turn it. And then the next thing up after we do that, and we know what's going on the front end, which I'm not going to address until I get to the front end of the car, is to go to the rear. We're going to build the car from the rear to the front. So we're going to go to the rear and figure out the bracket mounts for the 4-link, because the Packard rear end is all cast iron. There's no metal tubes in there to weld to. And welding to cast iron is an art. It takes somebody that knows how to heat the metal, clean the metal, peen the metal, do all this stuff to the metal. They get it, and they're easy to crack loose. And I don't want to break that housing. So I'm coming off the 4 links off of the metal brackets where the spring hangers used to be. So I'll have 2 arms coming this way, and then I'll have 2 arms going 6 inches on each side of the drive shaft on the high side. Instead of being to the pumpkin out to the frame, it's going to be basically from the frame to the inside towards the drive shaft. And you'll be able to see this because we're going to whack the back of the body off before I start doing the 4-link, because why crawl under the car? It's got to come off anyway because I'm shorting the car. So we will bob the frame after we put the 4-link in. And everything's welded and painted, all new brake lines, everything's done back there. And then we'll set the body back on and slide it forward 28 inches. I want a 4-inch B pillar. That's the pier. A pillar is the front door post. It's the back door post. Somebody says that's going to look funny because the doors are too small. The doors are 38 inches on this old car. That's a pretty good sized door. And I'm downsizing the car. There's a lot of aesthetics and lines. We'll get into all that body stuff later. I'm not going to worry about it. But this is what we're doing. We're going to prep it and set it. We're going to tell you what's wrong with the steering when I locate it. And then we're going to figure out, I'll take some pictures and show you on the camera what's going on with the steering till I figure out how I'm going to do it, or where I can, if I can find the parts for a reasonable price, or I have to make them. And then we're going to go put the tires back on the front and go back here and take a tire off the back. And we're going to pull one of those brackets off, spring mounts and everything off, bring it here and throw it on this table. And after I clean it, figure out how I'm going to make this 4-link work. And it's going to be a pistol. It's going to be a nice car. I'm sitting there thinking what it would look like in dark red, brushed with a kind of a black, like it's faded. Ooh, I think that's going to look good. Give me something to tinker with anyway. Somewhere between this one and that one, this garage gets redone a little bit and cleaned out. I'm just going to bring a dumpster in and clean stuff up. We got stuff over here we threw in and we moved. We couldn't go through it, throw it away first. So I'm going to bring a dumpster up. We got stuff in the basement we need to get rid of. We got stuff in this room that needs to go in the basement. And I got stuff over there that needs to go in the dumpster. And when I used to flip houses, I got a bunch of leftover stuff. We took a pickup truck full, literally, from the bed up above the bed of 4x8 sheets of you name it, out to my son's barn to use for whatever he needs to use it for, and some lumber. And we set this up to work on this car. And now I know what I need to work with. We'll come in with a trolley crane, insulation, wallboard, modification on that heater. We're going to go next door. I told my wife she's getting evicted over there. We're going to put an extension on the garage that way with 2 barn doors for all her patio furniture. Because right now we got to carry it in and out of the house, put it downstairs. But my back, it's not a good idea. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put an extension off the garage over there, out 2 outside doors, pour a dry pour floor in it. She can put all her lawn furniture and all her whatever stuffs and anything else she's got over there. And that'll give me this room. And she wants to put a freezer right there, which I will agree. I'm going to level that floor, put kitchen cabinets up top, make a workbench, put the new compressor over there, and insulate all that too. I'll probably put a second heater in, because this one does real good. If I had 2 of them, I could work in this room, or I could shut this door and turn that one on if I'm working on something like this. With the manufacturing the wiper stuff that go in that car, I could leave it laying over there while I'm waiting for parts. That was my trouble a while back. If you remember, I had 4 projects going on. I had piles of tools everywhere, and I had to literally stop and wait till I got all that stuff done, and then I could come in and actually clean. And it's still not clean. I still got to get stuff put away. That's just the way it is, people. Like, subscribe, and hang in there. Like I'm saying, it is 0 to 1 degrees right here now. If I step outside, it'll kick up to -12. And I've had just about enough of the cold already.